Let's now talk about some of the philosophical underpinnings of multimodality discourse analysis. In this regard, I'll talk about a kind of socio-semiotic theory of multimodality. All languages contain a number of semiotic resources including facial expression, gestures, images, photographs, etc. And they always help us making meanings when they are alone or also in company of a certain text or words. Language is always interpreted or understood in a certain socio-cultural context, and images similarly are also realized in the same context. If we just look further at it, the images and the meanings of certain text are realized uh, through their placement or location in a certain context, and how and what kind of interactants were involved or participants were involved in the discourse who generated that particular text. Moreover, it also assumes the linguistic meaning also. But whenever we have the involvement of some kind of images or multimodality, we see that the meanings of such modes are realized visually also. What we see has a significance on our impressions we make, on the meanings which go through our cognitive processing, and what filters out to be in terms of our opinions or thoughts about it. So realizing the meaning of an image or maybe or other multimodal tasks maybe is a thorough cognitive process which has a major visual part involved in it. There may be ideational or representational meaning of an image, and as per Halliday's functional distribution of meaning, uh, an image can have as many meanings or as much meanings as the text have. We know that there are multiple modes may be involved in kind of a communication for communicating certain meanings, but we need to see how these different modes are involved and engaged in a certain communication, and more importantly how they have been arranged in that series of communication. So we need to see the arrangement also, which comes first, which comes later. Is the image which is given primacy over the text, or the text is given primacy over the image? We need to see the arrangement factor also. There are certain examples of multimodal discourse analysis of how this could be conducted, or what kind of portions of analysis the traditional discourse or critical discourse analysis may be involved in analyzing certain modes along with the text. We have examples like Kraft and Levin's reading images. We also have multimodality as social semiotic approach to contemporary communication by Levin. There are some other interesting works like Introducing Social Semiotics by Halloran, Multimodal Discourse Analysis and Painter by Martin and Unsworth. Then we have Mason and Van Leeuwen's Multimodality in Relation to Global Media Discourse. These are some of the important works. There are more works. Another work by Bandrick is based on some systemic functional perspectives on multimodality. And we also have multimodality news and news discourse by Bandrick also. Then we have theoretical assumptions that underlie multimodality or multimodal discourse analysis by Jewett. These are some of the interesting works which have been conducted so far and provide us some of the assumptions which are important to understand and to conduct a multimodal discourse analysis. First of these assumptions may be seen as that language is part of an ensemble of modes. Language is not everything. The language we speak, we write is not everything. This is just one part or one aspect of our communication. There may be other aspects or other parts of the entire communication process. For example, we have images, gaze, how we look at something or at someone, and that has special meaning to as compared to what we say. We may say a very polite thing but with a very strange look, the meaning would change simultaneously. Instantly meanings would change. So images, gaze, posture, they not only support meaning, but they also contribute the meaning. They have their own meaning, and sometimes their meanings are more powerful than the meanings of the text or the spoken or written language. The second assumption is that each mode of communication realizes different meanings. They may complement each other or supplement each other, but they may have their own independent potential meanings. For example, a text coupled with an image may have its own powerful meaning, and the text may have its own meaning. In certain situations, they may be put together and can complement each other, but they can and they do have the potential of having their own independent meanings. The third assumption is that people select from and configure these various modes in order to make meaning. People deliberately and by choice make the selection of certain modes. So all modes should be taken seriously and critically in the process of meaning making. The fourth assumption is that meanings made by the use of multimodal analysis are also social. So modes have their own conventions, not only generic conventions as a genre, but they also are put in a certain socio-political context. As the text may vary from culture to culture, and the words do have different meanings, the images may have different meanings in different cultures. The meaning further are shaped by norms, rules, social conventions for the genre. In this regard, Kress, in his work Multimodality, a social semiotic approach to contemporary communication, has provided us with a theory of socio-semiotic theory of multimodality, which is very beneficial in understanding the critical discourse analysis of multimodal images. Among other things, a social semiotic theory of multimodality asks what meaning is being made in a text, what kind of meaning are being conveyed, and how they have been framed. How is meaning being made in the text? What meaning are being conveyed and how meaning has been framed? This would actually automatically lead us to think that what kind of modes have been involved to convey a certain meaning, or in other words, what resources are or have been engaged to convey a particular meaning. Then in what social environment is the meaning being made? An image, as I said earlier, may have different meaning in different contexts. I mean, a man holding something which is burning in his hand may have a different meaning in times of peace and may have a different meaning in the times of war. So we have to interpret modes also in certain socio-cultural contexts and times. And more importantly, whose interest and agency is at work in the making of the meaning. So who is the actor, who is being shown in the image, or who is being backgrounded, not shown in the image? All these questions about the various modes used in a text help us to understand the meaning. So in short, we can say that whenever we have to understand the meaning of a communication, we need to rely not only what is being said or written, or in other words, the language only, but also the modes which has been involved. They may be photographs, they may be other images, they may be a kind of snapshot, or maybe a video or any other image. And in these images we need to see what has been foregrounded and what has been backgrounded.